Some Buddhist thinkers have this image of a snake chasing a pig, and the pig chasing a rooster, and the rooster chasing the snake, and it's an endless circle. And it comes to represent our mind and the state of our mind that is constantly going in a circle. And some monks say that the snake is anger, and the pig is lust or greed, and the rooster is self-deception or control. All negative qualities, and all these negative qualities come from fear. Because we have fear embedded in our psyche, in our bones. I know I have fear embedded deeply into myself, fear of dying. And that fear manifests as anger, manifests as greed, manifests as control. And that's what these creatures come to represent. But I like to think that these creatures also can reverse the roles in our mind and come to represent other qualities. The snake is compassionate as opposed to being angry. The snake brings magic. The snake brings the forbidden fruit. The snake brings knowledge. The snake is compassionate. And the pig, instead of being greedy, the pig is generous because it gives so much to humanity. The pig gives meat to many. And the rooster might be in self-deception when it's croaking at 4 a.m. loudly. But the rooster might be celebrating. The rooster could represent celebration. So instead of having fear, we could have joy, and this joy could manifest as compassion, as generosity, as celebration. And it can be done in a big way, but it can also be done so simply. Compassion can manifest just as a smile. A smile is the simplest tool to show compassion to another being. It's disarming, literally. It's opening our arms, it's opening our face, just a smile to another. And we can be generous in the simplest way by not taking. We don't have to be giving. Yes, that is good, but just by not taking, we are being so generous. Because we have so many chances to take, and we take at any given chance to take. But we could pause and think, should I take this? Should I take this food? Should I take this object I found, what I like? Maybe I can pass at the opportunity and not take, or ask for permission to take, or think about the consequences of my taking. And all that is not taken, and is a form of generosity. And then celebrating, we can celebrate by dancing, we can celebrate just by laughing. Laughing is so powerful to celebrate, and it's so simple. We do have, passively, basically, we can be compassionate and generous and celebratory by smiling, by not taking, and by laughing. I was talking about fear being the force behind anger and control and greed. And I have noticed in myself how I keep carrying fear. Being here in the jungle in front of the river at night, I have felt the fear. This void of 1,000,000,000 trees is so imposing that it provokes fear, and I can see why there are alcoholic problems here. People who come from outside, either they destroy or they run from themselves here. There's a mirror quality to this place that reflects who you are, and it can be hard. I have sat under these raging or roaring storms, and exposed directly to the storms, and it's challenging. It's so powerful. Every time I look out, I see trees going on forever. It's an infinite, but at the same time, it has this quality of void by being infinite. Because see, the voids ourselves, some of our defenses. So here, being here from very early on, I experienced this uneasiness that has been reduced with time, and I felt for the first time last night accepted by the jungle. Venteveo, calling, the simpler call. And I felt fear to my bone level, fear of dying. And that's a fear I carry all the time, and it's a fear we all carry. This fear of dying, and then I explored that fear and why. Well, that's the fear of dying in such a remote location, and where no one knows me. And then it's so what? Let it be. Could be a kind of a glorious death. He died in a remote spot in the Amazonia because he felt he had to do something there. So why fear dying under these conditions? Are there really ideal conditions? There might be better conditions, but no need to fear. And a lot of the fear can be placated by taking up measures to talk to people about it, and to pass along information, to carry information for people to know who I am. It's also fear of dying because we haven't done things we wanted to do. And that's where I have told myself I had done enough. I had done so much already in my life, and we have all done enough just by being here. No need to push ourselves so hard. If I have fear of not sharing my thoughts, my wisdom, here I am dictating, so they are somehow put down, literally, because sometimes they become a burden, luggage we carry around, and we don't need to carry so many things. But the fear is always present, and it can subside, and we can touch it, we can feel it, and experience what death is, and not be scared, and just having this awareness that is there, and it may manifest in other ways. The Bentebeos took a bath in the river. They are working on their feathers now. I wish they would make that's their cone. Well, I guess I'm not gonna be mating with a great Kikati, is that what they're calling in English? Venteveo, Luisitos in Mexico. They don't fear dying. It goes back to this language issue, talking about what is not there. By the way, Umberto Eco was the one who talked about being what distinguishes humanity, this language, this ability to talk about what is not there. But I don't think he talked about being a gift and a curse at the same time. The clouds are going away, so the sun is gonna get really strong here in the late afternoon. I had to put up my canopy or move somewhere else. I guess I didn't say that much about this entire fear of dying. Just be aware that it's present, touched it, and think why fear and being dead like this minute here. Yes, people are gonna take my stuff and nobody's gonna get these recordings. And so can I do something about it? Maybe I can transfer them, or just be patient and hope for the best. And then the fear of not having done all what we wanted to do, well, let's do all what we want to do. But let's be sure that we also enjoy life. So many people just stay busy, trying to accumulate for later to enjoy life. And it becomes in itself a big distraction because most people cannot be with themselves. What I'm doing here, I know very few people who could be here like this, confronting the self constantly, and especially in a setting like this where the jungle, as I was saying, is a sort of mirror in its immensity, in its infiniteness. And then dying is a transformation, the same way birth actually is an experience that if we recreate the experience of birth, we can see that birth feels like death, because we go from an ideal, controlled, safe and perfect environment to a crazy, noisy world, and the transition is so violent that feels like death. It must feel like death after what must be a long time of being in the womb, but it feels like the longest time. So we come from this eternal paradise into this hell of life, and that was what we call birth, but it's actually, it feels like a death. So maybe what we call death feels like a birth. Maybe it's a similar experience. When we are born in some form, our breathing cessates because we don't have any more the supply of blood from our mother who was keeping us alive, and we are suffocating, and then we cry and gulp air. When we die, we also suffocate because the oxygen flow ceases. But what happens then? We really don't know. These are associations we make. We ennoble birth so much when it's actually the most traumatic experience we have in our lives, and where birth felt like dying. So why now be so afraid of dying? Because we just associate it with an end and worms and decomposition. Or we have an entire system of beliefs of an afterlife, judgment, heaven and hell. And the river keeps coming up. It was up more than a meter and it's even higher now. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Even my meditation mound, my sand hill, is the water is approaching it. It's only like 3-4 meters in front of it.